I grew up being taught that all of you amazing people sitting in this audience today and listening to this talk are wicked and deserving of destruction by God. And what's worse, I believed it for a long time. Let me explain. I was born into a high-control religious organization that indoctrinated 4 things in me that shaped my perception of the world around me. I was to view every person outside of this organization who didn't listen to our message and conform to our belief system as unfit for the gift of life that had been given to them. That the outside world was evil, along with every person in it. That the male leaders of this religious organization were the only ones who God communicated the truth to. And if I were to leave this religious organization or even question its leaders, my life would be meaningless, and I would be worthless and unfit for the gift of life. I would be dismissed, or what I knew it as, disfellowshipping. I'd be cast out and shunned by those that were the closest to me. And what's more, if I were to speak out against the leader's authority, that would be the worst sin a person could commit, a close second to Satan himself, and no chance of being accepted back. I even believed the leaders could police my mind, and not even mental doubts were allowed because, well, God would know and would be angered against me, leading only to death. And then it happened. I left. I not only met a person who clearly was not wicked, but I fell in love with her. I was cast out, disfellowshipped for having a relationship with her. For the first time, I stepped into a world I was not equipped to deal with. Everything was stripped from me, stolen, including my birthright to have my mother and father in my life. Gone. My family and friends literally turned their backs on me, weaponizing our relationship as emotional blackmail against me. If only you would leave your relationship with that wicked worldly woman, they would say. The leaders would actually come to our home, try to indoctrinate me into leaving her right in front of her. They cared nothing for her feelings, but only focused on how to get me to comply to their instructions. And if I did, I could not only get my family and friends back, I'd have a chance of gaining my life back too. Emotional blackmail at its finest. Their words left me upset, confused, guilty, shamed, and worthless. But something inside kicked in, and I kicked them out. I chose to sacrifice everything I ever knew, and every person I ever loved in this world. I did so that I could see with my own eyes if this world and every person in it really was wicked. After all, I had met one that wasn't, and maybe there were more. What an extremely hard choice that was to make. And it was filled with trial and error as I tried to navigate through this new life outside of indoctrination. The quest to reclaim my true identity wasn't easy. It led me to very mentally distressing times that were filled with poor, unsuccessful choices. And my kids were falsely taught by family members in the religion that I had abandoned them. They were even taught at times to look at me with disgust. The resistance was so intense, I felt defeated, beaten down, and worthless. And then it occurred to me, I realized I was beginning to become the very thing they said I was going to be. A failure, an addict, and a person not very well fit for life or for parenting. I recalled the night I met my parents for supper with my kids, the night I was going to be cast out of the religion, so they could say their goodbyes to me as if we were at my own funeral. They would say what they were taught to say, "I know you'll come back to the truth. We will pray for you." I remember feeling devastated with a confused and diminished mental capacity. I looked back on the nightmares I suffered every night for years after being disfellowshipped. Nightmares of the apocalyptic Armageddon coming suddenly as a thief in the night, along with the God of destruction who would destroy me, along with all of you evil people out there. In this terrifying dream, the sky would turn fiery red as I scrambled to find my kids, knowing there was little time to say goodbye and apologize to them for failing as a father. I'd fall to my knees as I told them how much I loved them with my whole heart, as black as things seemed to be. I recollected how I would wake up in a sweat and muster up enough energy to forge through my life. And that's when it finally registered. I am not dead. I am very much alive. And I knew right then, with all my heart, that there has to be something better, and that I was not meant to endure such pain. And a feeling came over me that I was meant for a bigger purpose, my true identity. In the past, one of the indoctrinations was to believe I couldn't lean upon my own understanding, and not to trust my own heart because it was treacherous. I was taught to wholeheartedly obey the direction of the leaders, whether it made sense from a human standpoint or not. But their message wasn't my message for the world. Their conditional love that included high-priced conditions and almost had me believing that love didn't exist was not my love. Their words were not my words, and they did not resonate with my heart, not one bit. I woke up. I woke up from my indoctrination, exploring my right as a human to know absolutely everything about the organization I was taught was the only true religion. I had now free will to figure out all of the things I didn't know about the outside world. I dug deep. I researched, and I found the answers that I had been searching for. But what a crazy roller coaster ride it is when discovering my whole life was a lie. Now I was faced with a choice. Do I share the scandals? Do I speak out about the atrocities? I understood my family and friends are victims of a high control organization, and I am an awakened survivor. So there really was only one choice. I had to speak out. And of course, I knew the consequences, and sure enough, they certainly came true. I was accused of being mentally diseased by the religious leaders who also told all other members, including my parents, to view me as already dead and not to feel bad about it. My kids were told that I was poisonous to their minds, and every word that came out of my mouth was poison. They would even call me a piece of shit father, just because I spoke out against the leaders. But here's what I knew. I knew those were not the words of my children. They were the words of leaders of an organization that programs people through skillful indoctrination, gaining absolute control over their members in every aspect of their lives, dividing them from the real world. I knew that if they were ever to step out like me, they would hear rumors that love does exist in the world and that it's real. But I knew they would find it hard to believe with their conditioned hearts. I knew that stepping out of a caged world into a world that they do not know was going to be a bigger obstacle than they think. And like me, their program mind that believed they're worthless was going to have every right to be angry. But, like me, they needed to choose not to be angry. And here's why. Because I know now that if it wasn't for that life, I wouldn't be as strong as I am today. I wouldn't be telling the world right now, right here, today, how I've seen life from my own eyes, I wouldn't be me. So now I choose to express gratitude every day for the life I lived in all of its indoctrination. That life led me to discover an energy and a strength I never knew existed within me. I can't change anything about my past life, but I can choose to learn from it. I knew I wasn't the man the leaders made me out to be. I was so much better than that. I had to take back control and reclaim my mind and find my true identity. I had so much to learn. First, I had to learn to love and harness the powerful energy of love and learn how to wield its power. In my awakening from my indoctrination, I began to learn and understand how it works. It uses fear tactics and hate as a driving force that has the power to divide family and friends and even nations. It breaks bonds that were never meant to be broken. And it uses those broken bonds as emotional blackmail. It slowly erodes minds like water in a deep gorge, wearing minds down with hate. I realized that there's a fine line between community and cult, and that the whole world, along with myself, are all indoctrinated by society in many ways we don't even realize. Throughout history, the world, like the high control or religion I escaped from, has been divided by fear, anger, and hate, giving control to leaders who selfishly hoard wealth and abundance to enable them to have power over the masses. Up until now, solutions to division have always been fighting and conflict because of the breakdown of communication and acceptance. And it's always ended in the same fashion, with pain, suffering, and loss of lives. We're always trying the same things, expecting different results. And that is the very definition of insanity. And in a lot of cases, people still teach our younger generations to walk down that same road. So it seems by definition, the world really has gone insane. Now, I not only see that religion is in a state of disease, I see the whole world in it, poisoned by the leaders who we are told to trust, indoctrinated just like I was. And my heart breaks for humanity because humanity is divided and seems to have given up on itself. We've built borders and walls with the hate that has been passed on and into our very DNA. Disgusted by those outside our borders or walls just because society or a belief system tells us to be. Society makes us believe we have to be divided, regulated, and pay dearly for what is supposed to be our personal lives. Our lives are not ours. We are programmed and indoctrinated to fear and react in hate. I feel differently now. None of this resonates with my heart, my true identity. And I'm guessing it doesn't resonate with yours either. Hate does not work, and we all know it. But we all keep letting it control us. And that is a choice. I'm what I would like to call a solutionist. I'm not sure if that's a real word or not, but it is to me. So what is the solution? What is the antidote to this debilitating poison that hijacks our minds? Do we just keep letting hate divide us? Or do we change our minds and try something different? Something crazy, like maybe the opposite of what does not work? How can we smash down the walls that we've all had a hand in building and maintaining? Let's try something different. Something that might seem foreign to us. I tried it, and it seemed foreign to me at first, but now I'm here to tell you that it works. It is love. It's such an easy word, right? It's such a cliche word. But think about the real definition of love. Human kindness, loving tenderness, deep affection. If we all practice using the energy of real love, it can have the most powerful impact in the world around us. Over time, love teaches us to stop judging others. Stop seeing other humans for anything less than ourselves. Stop seeing race and start accepting people for who they are, fellow humans. In our society, if someone believes something different than ourselves, at best we automatically, as if it were programmed into us from somewhere, feel the need to judge. At worst, we actually try to convince other people that they are wrong for not believing the same thing as us, and then try to convert one another to conform to our own beliefs instead of accepting one another for what makes us each happy. What can we do? We can recognize the problem is hate and fear. Then become aware of it. Now that we're aware, this is the opportunity for a change of mind. When something happens that triggers any negative emotion, ask ourselves why. And then try using the powerful energy of love to react in the opposite way we would normally act. Then become proactive. Try reacting in kindness, showing compassion, and acting in love towards people who might be having just as bad a day as us, or maybe even worse, but you just never know. And stop letting the labels that others force on us make us feel ashamed of our own authenticity. Stop conforming to society instead of accepting ourselves and loving our true identity first and foremost. Consider practicing this for 31 days, even just once a day. Now, those small, consistent, smart choices may not seem to make a difference in the world around you right away, but after 31 days or longer, it will. It will add the most value to life and community, causing a chain reaction of positive emotion gaining momentum every day. It is the antidote to the poison of indoctrination and division. The antidote is acceptance, and acceptance used with love will add the most value to all of our lives. I want you all to know the biggest reasons I'm here today. I'm here because someone very close to my heart showed me kindness, compassion, understanding, forgiveness, and ultimately love in times that I was at my lowest points in life. And there it was, the light at the end of what seemed to be a very, very, very long tunnel. Now, this person inspired me to change because I felt a feeling, an emotion that at times I never thought existed. And the only condition on that love was honesty and a reciprocation of that love. Simple as that. So I tried it. I started to listen to my beautiful queen, the very woman they disfellowshipped me for, my amazing wife Angela. Thank you for showing me love. You saved my life because of it and helped me realize that happiness and contentment was a choice. I chose to be happy, and my life changed. And to my kids, who have inspired me to be better, allowing me to teach them that they have the power with their own free mind to pursue their dreams and to believe in themselves and to trust their hearts and be the best person they can be, showing love to others. I'm so very proud of you, Logan and Gavin. And finally, to my wife's family, for showing me acceptance. I love you all for that. I celebrated my first birthday, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas when I was 37, not too many years ago. You can imagine my excitement when waking up in the morning and opening my first birthday present and opening my first Christmas present. I even put a Christmas tree in the box of my truck with lights all around my truck and with a wreath on the grill, driving around town listening very loudly to Christmas music with my windows open. And my truck was lit up like Times Square. It was fantastic. But I did so without guilt or shame for the first time in my life. My life has not ended. I am not dead. Far from it. I am alive. And this is only the beginning. there is a beautiful light at the end of the tunnel. The length of that tunnel is up to us. Let me leave you with something that I think that we can all agree on, believers and non-believers alike. And I'll ask you to practice thinking about these words before you make your choices. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous. It does not brag, does not get puffed up, does not behave indecently, does not look for its own interests, does not become provoked. It does not keep account of the injury. It does not rejoice over unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. My name is Lee Manzer, and I want to know who of you are willing to change and embrace it to achieve the change we have all been longing for. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Accept, love, and live. Together, let's break the cycle of indoctrination and reclaim our identity. Thank you.